In this recording, we're going to go over how you can set up your pool during this time period where we're all on restrictions due to COVID. So there's a few ways that we can go about this, and every organization is slightly different. So please keep in mind which one is going to be best suited for your particular location. One of the first things that we are seeing is we have a lot of customers who what they are doing is they are using their facilities and they're creating either multiple pools, they're doing lanes within their pools. And the reason they do this is so that they can go in here and go to the online reservations tab, and they can create an online availability schedule so that instead of having members reserve their spot in the pool, they get to reserve which lane they're going to be using. Now, if you decide to use this, please keep in mind whatever your local restrictions are. I've heard that often having it go every other lane tends to work out for the best, so you don't have to worry about people that are not practicing social distancing. And then you'll just come in and add new availability schedule. So if you're allowing people in for an hour at a time, you would just come in here and you would set up your hourly time schedule, choose the days of the week, make sure to set your name as well as when the pool is going to be open from, until, and after you've added however many time slots you'd like to add for the day, you'll come down here and you can choose the rate. Now remember that this rate would be based on the reservation. If you would prefer that they're paying per person, then I would recommend that you do a $0 fee during this part of the checkout, because they're obviously going to be paying for those passes separately. Otherwise, choose your reservation name, type in how much it'll be, if you're residency restricting, and hit save. Then keep in mind, you want to set up the required lead time for something like your lanes. You may want to leave it as none. That way, if somebody has the ability to rent it later on in the day and you still have open slots, it's not going to prevent anyone. And make sure you see the red disable. If it looks green, it means that the public cannot use this facility to reserve online. Now, some of our groups are also using programs for this purpose. And what they're doing is they are creating programs that would say June 22nd, 8 to 9 a.m., pool time. So this is the time period and time slot that people can reserve. So we can label that Aquatics. I do recommend we set this to drop-in support with yes, pre-registration required. When your members show up at the pool, they go to scan themselves in, or you go to check them in, it'll say the word check-in if they've arrived for the correct date and time. Same as when you're setting up the rest of your programs, the information is going to remain the same. The big thing here is this enrollment maximum. If you're only allowed to have 40 people per hour from the public at the pool, then set that maximum to 40. That'll make it so that only 40 people can register for that time period. And then for the fees, this is where you're going to be coming in, and this is where you're doing that one-day pass and saying how much it's going to cost them per person. And make sure you check that off to show the fee on portal. If there's any restrictions such as residency, or if they belong to a membership, please make sure to fill out that information before you hit save. That way you'll have a roster per time period for your pool. And you'll just want to go back into the program info tab, click edit, and create new program exactly like this one so that you can keep changing this to push out your next time slot. Don't forget, every time you copy a program, the one thing that will not copy is your schedule, so you'll have to add a new schedule. Now, the last option that we've been seeing are memberships, and we've actually been seeing them used as punch passes. So I'm going to open one that we have, and I'm going to click edit. This type of a membership will allow you to set it up so that they can have 10 punches, 10 swipes for $50. Now, you can also include up to. So this is a unique way to sell passes. This is also a faster way to sell passes for your families that would like to purchase them, especially if the kids may be going with their neighbor or their friend to the pool instead of with their parents. This will allow them to select all their household members, and those 10 punches would be used within all of the household members. So if mom, dad, and child will check in. That's 7 swipes they'll have remaining. But if the kid goes with their friend, they'll see they have 6 left over for their house. So you can sell them in increments here. Please remember that while you're creating your memberships or your programs or your facility reservation piece, to leave yourself a gap in time or to remind your members what gaps there may be. If you're only allowed to have people in the pool for 1 hour at a time and then you need to close for 30 minutes to do cleaning, make sure you're blocking that time period off for yourself so you don't have to worry about somebody accidentally reserving during that time period and it turning into a thing. And once you've gotten everything set up, then you're going to use our Go to Check-in feature. You'll choose the location from the drop-down. So if we're at the pool, we'll use the pool. If you are using program to mark what day and time they should be there, please make sure you change this to enable program or event selection. And you can change the program period to today. And when the person goes to check in, you can either scan them in or type in their last name. Please mind how much data you guys see here. This is a demo site. So you can see within my Punch Pass membership, I have 10 passes remaining. And you can see here, I did not sign up for that date and time slot, so I cannot be registered. I would see this button, the word check-in, if I had preemptively signed up for that date and time. So you just want to hit the word check-in if somebody's preemptively signed up, and then complete check-in. That will not only check them into the program, but for those of you who like our Punch Pass feature, it'll take one of those punches away. And our system will start tracking how many people have come in for the total amount for the day versus how many people have come in within the last hour. That way it gives you an idea of how many people you've had come through the door. And for any point of sale pieces for your pool, please remember to create your point of sale system. We do have other videos for that, so I don't want to dive too deep into this, but that way you can use our point of sale, have a register that'll open and close, and this is how you can also sell daily passes. Please keep in mind that if you're going to use this piece of the system, our general patron is who's always going to be marked. With this current situation, I highly recommend you use that search feature, type their last name, and hit select next to their name. That way it'll link the invoice with the member, and if for any reason you need to provide information for who it was, this information will be readily available, and you'll have information from their member profile to be able to contact them. And that's the whole process for what you'll need to be able to get your pool set up for the summer.